Eva, it's so good to catch up with you. I've pulled you away from the crowd at the first day of Gamesforum Barcelona, and here we are for a chat, so thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So your role as head of live ops, I have many a question for you. You work for King, which is one of the biggest studios in the industry. So my first question to you is, live ops never really launches. It's in a constant state of evolution.
Right.
What do you think is one thing that would be of interest to know about running such games to people outside of the industry? What is one thing that you think people would say, oh, I didn't quite know that?
Yeah, I would say the first thing is that people probably think that the biggest investment is up until launch, right?
Yeah.
That's where you put in all the effort, and then once the game has launched, it's out there and it's stale. But in reality, the work only starts when you launch.
Yeah.
Right? So you keep investing into features, events, offers, content updates to keep the players engaged over many, many years. And so the investment becomes spread out. And one very good example here is our very own Candy Crush Saga, which launched 14 years ago with 65 levels. And now we have over 21,000 levels.
Wow.
So that says a lot about the investment that has gone in after launch, right? And we have also kept evolving other parts of the game, like, features, events, and we have a big expansion that is called All Stars, which is this tournament that runs every spring. And you qualify in the game for a live final with a cash prize.
Wow.
One thing that I think is also surprising is that a lot of players have actually been around since the game launched for 14 years.
Yeah.
So imagine like how loyal and engaged they are. We're very proud of that, but that's also a challenge in a way because we need to keep the game familiar while keeping it fresh. So we need to strike that balance, but it's a fun challenge to have.
That's so interesting. So you, in your role, Eva, you sit at this interesting intersection of UX, product, and a few other things. So when all these, this is a question that I actually have a personal interest in, when all these groups disagree on something, what is the one thing that brings them together to make the best decision for players?
A couple of things. First of all, I love the question.
Yeah.
Because this is why it's so much fun to work in the gaming industry.
It's a practical thing as well. Like not everyone's always going to be on the same level. There's going to be some disagreements.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that mix of art and science is really where the magic happens if you get it right, and that really benefits the player experience.
Yeah.
So it's a couple of things that usually help. First of all, have a very clear focus on the goal. What are you trying to achieve for the player? What's the player need? What we're building for? What's the hypothesis? So the first thing. The second thing is put all the facts on the table. And that's, of course, coming from data, from A/B tests or from the game. And it can also come from the players. Right? So you can show players prototypes, you can also listen to players in forums, etc. So when you have a clear goal and then put the facts on the table, usually it's easier to take a really good decision where you combine all these perspectives.
Right. So keep data driven.
Yeah.
Is the answer to that.
Yeah, and player focused.
Right.
Yeah.
And final question for you here, Eva. So player focused, you mentioned that. So player expectations, that's an interesting one because as you know, players can be a little bit volatile sometimes. What they wanted yesterday might not be what they want next week, for example. Right. So how do you sort of work around this, and how do you prime and prep your live ops team to respond to this when it does occur, when that change does happen in player expectation?
I mean, I can first of all maybe talk through an example of a player behavior that actually surprised us a bit.
Yeah.
As I said, we have some very loyal and engaged players that have been playing the game for a long time, and many of them are actually end of content, so they are at the end of the progression. They played all the 21,000 something levels,
which is insane to think about. That's
Absolutely.
So many.
So that's a very strong part of their player identity, and they want to keep up with all the new content that we drop.
Right.
Sometimes we do drop extra content, and one of the surprising things has been to see that players don't always react positively to that. Some of the players feel that it's more of a pressure to keep up with all the levels we release rather than a gift. And the way we have detected that is, of course, through data. We've had a lot of data scientists and also product managers looking into that particular behavior to understand it better. So I would say again, understanding the player behaviors, looking at the data, and putting qualitative feedback from the players together with the data to tell that story. So always key to keep up with your understanding of your player audience.
Fantastic stuff. Eva, thank you so much for taking the time. We can't wait to see what you guys do next.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.